The personal physical immortality mechanism, the multiverse macrocosmos structure. Tell me, please, is resurrection possible or not? What can you say about Grabovoy's teaching? Resurrection does not exist in the interpretation that you consider. Why does it not exist? Because death does not exist as such. Biologically, a human does not die due to availability of the great multitude of various development scenarios. I have told Oksana that now she is present in one of the scenarios, not in this point of space, but she is engaged with totally other matters, with a multitude of various matters. She is wearing different clothes there and communicating with other people, but she is also realizing herself as Oksana. Owing to the presence of all those scenarios, which spread out from the space-time structure, after the final disconnection of consciousness in this scenario, the transition of focus dynamics occurs to the perception system, which is the closest to the configuration of the death of the human, to his personalized self-consciousness. Then he starts to realize himself as the new, personal interpretation, which is him in another scenario. What is your name? Nelia. In the case of death, you will remain Nelia, but in another scenario where nothing fatal has happened to you, for example, the heart attack wouldn't have happened, you wouldn't have gotten in the hospital, you wouldn't have taken to your bed, but you will have recovered. For example, here any human did not recover and die before your eyes. Because of the space-time properties of disunion and sugrantnost, for definite reasons, the current your configuration is not able to become the part of another scenario where life is going on. The reason for this is that we are all tied to our biological parameters, very much so. If some neuronal chains or functional peculiarities of our organism have no possibility to keep doing their activity normally, we reveal the great dependence on these functional connections that we have. However, there are our configurations where these functional defects did not grow to this premortal extent and did not become in critical condition. Then because of this, we refocus to that configuration of our human personality. This is the prolongation of our human personality, where we start to recover from our illness. You recover and go on till the next traumatic moment, when you are not knocked down by a car, where, in another scenario, the car did not actually knock us down. Our body could not keep functioning further, but our personalized self-consciousness remained. It is indestructible. Right here, in the same space point, self-consciousness chooses another development scenario and merges with the closest configuration synchronously. The closest by qualitativeness to the current man who was knocked down by a car. In that scenario, he, which is the configuration of the alive man, did not cross the road through a red light, or he had come to that point of space 5 seconds before he was knocked down. He either looked aside, or stopped, or did something else, and avoided the car. The car which knocked him down in this scenario overshot him, and the man normally walked on, living after that. Moreover, the man did not even notice it, the fact of the death accident. In our conceptions, resurrection occurs in other scenarios as such, as a continuation, but we do not know that it is resurrection, because it occurs automatically without our knowledge. For example, if you loved someone very much, someone who died or something else has happened to this person, and now he is not present in the current scenarios, well, if you continue to miss him very much, if you are a lack for him in some realizations, all that launches the mechanism of your refocusings to those scenarios where the dead man is alive. That means that you do not think of him as he is dead. You remember various scenes of how you met him during your life, how you talked to him, and so on, like he is still alive. All of those structures in your focus dynamics, your thoughts, your wishes, and feelings, all of these define and facilitate your choices in the direction of the scenarios where your relationships may continue further. Just because the relationships have not finished yet. Revitalization, or death refocusing, only seems like death in this scenario. Actually, it is your transition to another development scenario. At the moment of one of your further revitalizations, you may move to that scenario where that man is alive, and where you do not even suspect him to die somewhere in the past. That happens because you do not remember any such moments. They are completely non-existent to you. You do not remember how you were knocked down by a car somewhere, how you fell and banged your temple against a table corner and died. Therefore, or how something else had happened to you. All of the above-mentioned experiences do not belong in your new total experience. Indeed, it is just a part. Due to Dvoyernost, which is the very high compatibility of configurations, you and that man have the common part of experience. It's synchronously together. I mean, that man who continues to live further after his death in a past scenario, whose death you remembered. But he has one more part of the experience, which you are actually not aware in this scenario. Thus, in another scenario, that man who died in the past scenario might stay alive. However, you will not be able to appreciate that, because it will be ordinary for you. You will not realize it. You will not know that somewhere that man died. Every day I face these pictures, or facts, which allow me to observe the results of revitalizations. I see how my environment might change in different scenarios. And that permits me to appreciate everyone surrounding me very much. Because I know that there was a car that knocked down someone, and another one had a heart attack, and there another one walked and fell and suddenly did not become himself, and so forth. What I see is all that happens simultaneously. Actually, it turns to the following. When I see this man alive, the very powerful sense of love for him arises, because I know that he may not have been alive. I might have moved to the scenarios where this man might have already died, and I am grateful that he is here. Does that mean that you can lead a man along a safe scenario and protect him from some accidents? No. In the beginning, I tried to do it, but it brought to nothing. I just observe what happens. That's all. However, initially I wished to warn and so forth. Nevertheless, after the warning, he made another mistake, and he still died in another case. So because of that, I simply observe what happens around me from the non-material level.